News4JAX political analyst Rick Mullaney joining us now. Rick, Supreme Court handing down what's known as a per curiam opinion. You had to educate me on this. Basically, a unanimous court. Is that unusual, and did they all really agree? Not really, according to what Tarek just told us.
Well, it's not unusual for them to be 9-0, but it was important that they be 9-0 on this one. And I think many around the country were looking to see, would the court be unanimous on a 9-0 decision that keeps President Trump on the ballot? And they were. The 9-0 decision is important. The fact that President Trump is staying on the ballot is important. It's also important to know what the court said. What the court said is no state, not Colorado, not Illinois, not Maine, none of the 50 states can remove a federal office holder from the ballot. That's under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment. That's limited to Congress and the federal government. Therefore, they were unanimous in ruling that they were reversing what Colorado had done and that Donald Trump remains on the ballot.
Big day tomorrow, Super Tuesday. Do you feel that there was any significance that this ruling came the day before Super Tuesday?
Donald Trump would have been on the ballot tomorrow in Colorado, but I think it shows that the court was very aware that tomorrow was Super Tuesday and that Colorado was voting, and they wanted to have clarity on that issue that he remains on the ballot. I do want to say, however, that what the court did in the majority versus the concurring opinions is that the majority said that in the future you may have to have congressional legislation specifically for this purpose. Amy Coney Barrett says, hey, that wasn't before us, just the Colorado case. We don't need to decide that. The more liberal justice is saying that goes too far. But bottom line, Donald Trump is on the ballot. The court is unanimous in saying he's on the ballot. Come November, Donald Trump is on the ballot in all 50 states.
Well, and Colorado or these other states said, hey, we're going to remove him from the ballot because of, they said he's an insurrectionist. This is not something, whether he is or isn't or participated or not in an insurrection. That was not what the Supreme Court decided today.
Can't know, all the legal scholars and everybody was predicting that the Supreme Court would not address that issue, and they did not. They did not go into the issue as to whether this was an insurrection or not, or whether his conduct rose to that level. They went to the 14th Amendment. They went to Section 5. Section 5 says the federal government, Congress, can enforce this, not the states. Colorado's a state. Maine's a state, Illinois is a state. They can't do it, and they did not address the insurrectionist clause itself.
And there might be a little bit of confusion because this was a unanimous ruling, but there were still some dissenting voices.
Well, the dissent's about the future. It's unanimous that for now, Donald Trump is clearly on the ballot, and he will be this year. Unanimous that these states cannot remove him from the ballot. What they disagree is what happens in the future if there's federal action, and what federal action may be required. Amy Coney Barrett says we don't need to decide that today. The majority said it requires specific congressional legislation. The concurring opinion says that's going too far. We don't know what it might require. You don't have to decide that at this time. But they were unanimous in reversing Colorado and unanimous in saying that Donald Trump stays on the ballot.
Got it. All right. Rick Mullaney, thank you so much for that insight.